I'm going to go grab tea.
Go grab it. I suppose I could have done that as crew.
Yeah, could you grab tea for me?
All right. Jeez, this is still going on.
I didn't buy you that shirt for nothing. Is that? All right. Well, thanks everyone for coming out to the MR340 recap. This is from last year. This is, so just as a quick kind of recap of last year, I got to Kansas City, I had gear stolen and we had to scramble in order to get on the water. This is me testing out the sliding seat that I built that night, or right before the race. The night before the race is when I finally tested it out, and it worked. But this year, because my sliding seat got stolen, I had to build a whole new sliding seat for the canoe that I decided to race instead of my other boat. So, this is probably 9 days before the race. I have it in the basement. We're figuring out how to rig up this rowing system to make this canoe rowable. So I had to level it. I had to level the rowing rig from the bow to the stern and across from gunnel to gunnel. And I had to manufacture specific blocks to fit the curvature of the canoe and the gunnel, and then also to keep it level going across from gunnel to gunnel. And, kind of like this, kind of like this talk, I was ill-prepared. I decided I'm doing this race 2 weeks before the race. This is a 340-mile race, and I suffered enough in my other boat to think, you know what, setting up a canoe would make it a little more comfortable, a little more tenable. And so that's why I was killing myself trying to make this rowing system work. And this is July 19th, so the race is on the 23rd. And we're working into the night. That's not daylight, that's street light shining on the boat. So we're working into the wee hours. Mr. Zacharias Preem was making it possible, busting out those holes we had to drill through it and cutting all these crazy angles. But we got it done, and so the next day came, and that's when my ground crew started working. We built this in one day. This is the frame for the sliding seat for the canoe. So
looks like Swiss cheese.
Yes. Thankfully, it's a little more rigid than that. So that was after, I cut all these holes out of it to make it lighter. And the best I got out of it was a Swiss cheese joke. And the next day, after it's all epoxied, we got it on top of our rig. And we're on our way through Nebraska now. Me and, let's see, what day is this? Yeah, that's July 21st.
Sunday.
Yep. And there's Tim.
That's probably Monday.
There you are.
Thankfully, we fit all those oars in the car. Those are 9.5-foot oars, so they had zero space. There was no, I don't know.
It kept John away from me while we were driving down the road.
Yeah.
It's like a wall between us.
And the adventure ramped up pretty quick. That was...
And an 18-foot canoe on top of an SUV in a windstorm.
Oh my God.
You know, it's already a high-profile vehicle, and it was all over the place.
Yeah. 1 second. I said I was ill-prepared.
That was an understatement.
Hold on.
Just cue me, Johnny. I'll put music.
No, we're good. I'm loving all these remarks my ground crew is spitting, so I need to get you that.
Okay. I'll
We're recording this for the YouTube as well, so I don't want to miss his smart-ass comments.
I don't have any of those. None.
Just the audio, right?
Case in point.
Just the audio, right?
What's your YouTube channel?
I actually don't know. I'll let you know before you leave. I haven't put a video up on it for 6 years, so I forgot the name of it.
It's fun. It's like a lot of fun making videos now because you and I do a lot of it. It's like fun.
Right. So this is the Missouri River crossing from Nebraska to Iowa. That was the first time we saw it, and a little bit of a preview of what was to come. So this is the race day check-in, July 22nd, the night before the race. And of course, we're still trying to get the rig working. This hasn't been tested yet at this point. Also, just a side note, that where the boat is sitting right there is where I slept that night. And that's Tim earning his shirt. This guy is really good at wrenching. Just so you know, in case anyone was wondering, I didn't know how to find the right bolt sizes for things in Ace, and then I go with this guy. He knows how to use that little thing with all the holes and read the numbers and know the difference between metric and standard. And I was like, wow, this is amazing. You don't have to spend hours just getting a handful of bolts and washers.
I was terrified that the thing was going to fall apart and it would somehow be my fault.
I appreciate the sense of responsibility. So this guy right here, this is my competition. This is David Falterman, who I got second to last year. He was nice about it. That's David on the right. But he needed some tools, so he came over and we were bantering a little bit. And his sister is actually currently in the process of rowing around the world. But I think she ran into some issues and her boat is being repaired. So currently she is working for a row crew, and they're in Europe now. So she's still, in a way, traveling the world, but they wanted to get a picture of me for her. So that's for Ellen Falterman, a.k.a. Ellen Magellan. And there it is, rigged and ready to row. And this is a photograph, compliments of Tim Knapp. That's the trial run, and I dare say the rowing rig worked beautifully. And just to give you a feel of what the starting point of the race is, this is Caw Point. And technically we're in Kansas, I think.
Yeah, Kansas City, Kansas.
There, the little snippet of the city on the right of the image there. And just needed to get a close-up of our dandy work. And so race day came July 23rd. This chaos here is people trying to get into the water to wait to start the race. I pulled this image from Facebook, so if this is your image and you're watching this on the internet, you can mention yourself in the comments and get credit and thank you for taking that picture. Now this is a Tim Knapp image. This is the, I might have done this out of order. Okay, so this is the big start right here. And this is Tim's photo. So I believe there was something like 300 solos starting. So here, what is that? 7 a.m. on the July 23rd.
Yep.
And this is shortly after because I was spending time washing mud off my shoes and getting odd looks like, why aren't you rowing, fool? But I was like, I don't want to get my plate or my foot plate muddy, and I just want to be comfortable. So I was fiddling and diddling and getting.
I think that worked out absolutely perfectly. I was so proud of you for that, not getting caught up in the excitement of being in the big pack. Because you can see how wide his oars are. His boat is wider than anybody else.
Right.
If he's in a pack, he's going to be slapping oars off of all these other people.
Yeah, there I am.
So he hung back. He didn't get overexcited. He didn't overexert in the first few legs too much.
Yeah, in the first few legs. This is probably a couple hours later.
Yeah, he's still smiling. Note that.
That's the best mood I'm going to have the rest of this race. Just kidding, that's not true.
That's not true.
That's
not true. Show more.
This is in the heat of the day, or that same day, first day. And so this is looking upstream, so I'm heading towards the camera here. So I've managed to, get myself out of the very back of the pack. And again, that's there's the wingspan of the rowing system. It's pretty, being in that pack is not fun with those.
It was really easy for me, as you can see in this picture. I could tell when he's coming into a boat ramp. Because it's like, I see the big oars. And everybody else is paddling, so you see this action as opposed to the both oars going at the same time. Oh, that's
and
cool.
This is after I passed the first checkpoint. I got to the first checkpoint just before 6, which is 2 hours earlier than last year. Last year was that we fought a headwind all day, so I was happy about the gains that I had this year. And I don't know, I'm not sure if this canoe is faster than my other boat or not. It seems pretty comparable, but I think this photo was taken right about dinner time, and that's why I was not rowing and taking pictures.
Nice.
And there's no filter or anything on this. This is as red as that sun. That sun was looking that red.
Wow.
Looks like an upside down exclamation point.
Oh yeah. And okay, so this is the next morning, about 23 hours into the race. What I didn't get footage of was me wrapped in a tent fly with a mosquito buzzing in my ear and me holding back sobbing because I was in so much pain. I had to stop. This is just a few hours before this. I had to stop. and rest. And I decided to rest for about 45 minutes. And it was miserable. It was humid. I was hot. I had mosquitoes in my ears. I was wrapped in a tent fly. I was wet. But I needed to keep going, and I decided to get up, and I was an inch away from just sobbing, but I realized that wasn't going to help me out. And I talked to the sagely man at the edge of the water, and he was like, "Hey man, don't worry about the fog. You can just stay close to the shore where there's slack water. If you see something, you can start rowing upstream. You'll be all right." And I was like, "You know what? You're right." And I got back out there, and not too long, the beauty of the morning kind of washed away the pain a little bit, and I started to enjoy myself again. So this is shortly after that. And this is, we're coming up on pretty close to, this is probably about a third of the distance covered for the whole race. Here's a couple other paddlers going into the fog. They still have their navigation lights on from the night before. And oh, I gotta pause that. So before I took this video, I was in Glasgow, the town, and I stopped there and tried to get, well, actually I got my first shower. So that was huge. That was a huge morale booster. And then I laid in the shade for about 45 minutes and slept and woke up 30 seconds before my set alarm. So I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm ready to go. Before that, though, I did eat a whole gyro. So, just so you know, guys, I was eating
For
good.
breakfast, he ate a gyro.
A huge fat gyro. It was paddler sized.
I'm looking at it going, I don't think I could eat that right now, but he's eating it. That's good.
So after that low, the first night, or early in the hours of the first morning, I'm back on the water and kind of refreshed. And so I was asked by my friends, a couple of my friends, to get a video of me singing "Row Your Boat." And I thought, well, I better do this while I'm in a good mood. What I said there was, there's nothing, absolutely nothing, half so worth doing as messing about in boats. Simply messing, which is, to quote Wind in the Willows. And so this is about halfway. I'm on my way to Franklin Island, which is where I made it last year when they called off the race because the river came up something like 8 to 10 feet, and there was debris in the river, and it just got too dangerous to continue. So I'm about to get to where I got to last year, and to be honest, I was feeling just as shitty. So I had to stop, and that's just to give you a feel of where I was at. And I took one of those 15-minute siestas, right? That's what it's called?
Sure.
Yeah? A sort of nap.
More of a collapse, but okay.
Yeah. I mean, I was getting to the point where I was falling asleep while rowing, and I was like, this is not safe. So I had to get off and get horizontal. So back on the water. This is getting on our way to Cooper's Landing. Cooper's Landing is an amazing venue outside of Columbia, Missouri. They do like folk music shows often, and it's just a really cool
Party
river
resort.
Yeah, like but for river rats.
Yeah, I guess.
This is a Tim Knapp right here, Tim Knapp photo. There's yours truly, and just over my shoulder is a friend I made on the river. That his name is Jon as well. I don't got his last name right now, but I'm sure I could find it because we became friends on Facebook. And this is landing at Cooper's Landing. They rolled out the red carpet for us at that point. We made it over halfway. And it's hard to tell in that picture, but if you can't tell from my body language, I'm dragging. I'm not happy. There's Tim earning that shirt right there. Another shot from the edge of Cooper's. And I decided to lay down here at Cooper's for about 20 minutes. And I could have slept for 12 hours, but I just had to get up and get going again, because that's what you got to do. And and it was like pushing off from Cooper's. That was tough. My morale was low. I was beat. I was like, I don't know. At this point, I think I was 4th place, but like wanting to do better, wanting to be higher up in the roster. But it was what it was. I was doing my best, but like I said before, I was ill prepared. Sadly, I didn't do any training before this race. This one was kind of like, I'm doing this race, and then I went and did it. After my training was 3 different times I rode 10 minutes on a rower. That wasn't right. And that first day, at the end of that first day, I was like, I'm not doing that again. This isn't right. Uh-oh.
Froze.
It froze. Okay.
There you go.
Anyway, my point was, leaving Cooper's was really hard, and it was as the night was setting in, and so this is my 2nd night, but I'm not feeling physically well or mentally good, but I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna get in that current and just stay on that at least. And so I set off, and I ate my dinner, and just was watching the lights on the shores, and then I hear a voice yelling at me like, "Hey, is that Jon?" I was like, "Jon?" And it was the Jon from before, the guy that was over my shoulder in that last picture. And at first I was like, oh man, I want to make some miles. So Jon is in a 14-foot kayak, and I'm in this 18-foot rowboat, and I want to make up some time. But it ended up being a huge blessing that I linked up with Jon. We ended up, I was so toast that I was, if he would have paddled hard, I would have been struggling to keep up with him, is where I was at. So, but anyway, we were kind of floating along at a good pace together, and we're going into the night, and we start, just talking about different stuff, and he starts talking about his family, and it was just ended up being really pleasant. and we're keeping each other company and keeping each other awake. And the hours continue to drag on. This next place, Jeff City, is still 3 hours away. And so we both decide, yeah, we need to start moving a little bit. Okay, yeah, let's start trying to move. So we start chipping away at the water a little bit with our paddles and our oars. And then the hallucinations set in. Yeah. Okay, it sounds fun, right? No, imagine being the most impossibly tired you could be, but you cannot sleep because it's not safe. Like, you could get sucked under a barge, you could get, swept onto a wing dike and pop or like poke your boat or rolled or all kinds of things. And the Missouri in this area is all like riprap, which is jagged rocks lining the banks. So it's not like you can just like gently pull off easily at any point. But we had each other, so we were keeping each other awake and all that good stuff. But I was like literally like phasing in and out of like reality. I was rowing. I was seeing weird tracers come off my oars. I was having micro dreams, and the trees were becoming massive figures, like beings on the edge of the banks, and there was a swirl to the side of the boat, and that swirl was a pile of debris, but then it was a swirl. But my brain filled in with perfect detail exactly what all those planks intertwined with branches looked like in that hallucination. It's like, wow. Hey, John, just to let you know, I'm hallucinating really hard right now, and I'm literally falling asleep while I'm rowing. So if you could do me a favor and like stay close by, I would appreciate it. It's like, oh man, of course, I got you, bro. So we struggled, mostly this guy right here, struggled to Jeff City in that state. And right up into like, getting into my tent, I was like having weird hallucinatory kind of like apparitions and tracers and but man, getting to Jeff City was the best. It was a huge relief, and thankfully the ground crew, the ground crew was asleep actually. But the who are the people at the ramps? The
Volunteers.
The volunteers. See, I started talking about hallucinations, and I went right back there. The volunteers at the ramp let me put my heavy boat down at the bottom, and I slept for 3 hours. I was like, screw it. I don't care where I am. This is about, finishing at this point. So I slept for 3 hours, and the next morning I realized in the night that the other rower that I was ahead of had passed me, and that was a bit of a hit. And I was like, well, I'm doing my best. And that was the first time that I did cry. I couldn't not. I was too overwhelmed. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to let this flow a little bit. It'll be all right. I'll get back out there. But, sometimes you gotta let the steam off a little bit. But then I had a breakfast. I pushed off onto the water. Still pretty low morale, but pretty quickly it was another beautiful morning, and I was really enjoying it again. And I linked up with a couple of other paddlers on the way. Well, actually, I think we're back on the. I think we're back here. Okay, so that's the next morning, and it was foggy, But I linked up with a couple other paddlers, and we had a really good conversation and paddled with each other for quite a ways. And but then they were outpacing me, so they went on. So I was just gonna do what my body would let me do. Basically, that's where I landed that day. I was like, I resolved on, I will do what as much as my body will allow me, short of hurting myself, basically, and so I can finish this race and, you know, honor everybody who supported me and put me out there, and honor myself because I wanted to finish this. Last year I didn't get to finish because they pulled the plug. So trying to figure out, this is definitely around the snack time because I got some crumbs on my mouth. But this is somewhere between Jeff City and Herman. I think this is pretty. Oh wait, no, we're not there yet. This is on the way to Chamois Bottoms. So this race for me could be divided into two segments: before watermelon and after watermelon. This is that we've been in before watermelon. So I was looking for some coffee at Chamois. This is prior to Chamois. This is still close to Jeff City. And I think this is me coming into Chamois.
Yep.
Tim's photo. So I arrived to Chamois, which is, first of all, great name. Smiling people at the ramp, including my ground crew. Just lovely day. I mean, he just got did you just get your best shower yet?
Oh, yeah, I had a shower at Chamois, so I was in a good mood. Although I was starting to sweat already because I was filling water bottles.
So that shower didn't last long. But anyway, I started sniffing around for a coffee. I found myself at Tim said, maybe this, this family over here selling snacks and stuff will have something for you. And I went over there, and it was a mom and her two boys. And I was like, hey, you guys got any coffee? I really want some coffee. And like, no, we don't. We got pop and we got water, and well, we got watermelon slices, $1 a chunk or $1 a slice. And I was like, all right, well, I'll take that. And man, that interaction was so pleasant. And the watermelon was just so watery. It just put a smile on my face. So I found my way back down to the boat, got on the boat, finished that watermelon, put the rind in the river. The river didn't seem to mind too much. And before long, I started feeling good. I was like, wait, I feel good? Maybe I should try rowing. So I started rowing a little bit, and that was feeling all right. I was like, okay, because I was kind of hobbling along, doing like kind of piddly techniques just to kind of, take little chips out of the water with my oars, nothing with power. But I was actually rowing again since like the first day. I was like, I'm rowing, and I feel all right. My hamstrings are working. This is great. I'm going to make hay while the sun shines, and I'm just going to see how long this lasts. And I just kept rowing. And a couple hours later, let's see. Where did we go to after?
I think Herman's the next stop.
Yeah. Well, I passed you at another place. Oh, wait, no, right. Yeah, Herman. It was like all the way to Herman. I was just kind of riding this wave of rowing energy. I was like, okay, wow, what was in that watermelon? This is looking upstream from Herman, from the direction of Herman. I think.
That might be further
Yeah.
down.
No, because I think...
that's further down.
Oh, that's further down. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is probably after... No, this is after Herman. Yep,
Yeah.
This is after Herman. So, at Herman, I did stop and got more water, and my ground crew helped me out with that. I finally found that cup of coffee, ate a couple brats. That was one thing that I was lucky about. I actually had an appetite this whole race, which a lot of racers lose that day one, and they're struggling to keep anything down, like their stomachs stop. And I thought my idea was, well, if I have an appetite, I'm going to capitalize on that, and so I did, and so I ate a lot, and I was surprised that I was able to eat that much. But anyway, pushed off of Herman, and after dinner I was a little bit tired, and so at Herman, let's see, that's 270 miles at this point, and so that's what, 90 miles more? Or
70.
70 more miles? Thank you. I'm not great at the maths. So I push off of Herman. I have a little bit of like a downtime to just relax a little bit and process my dinner. And then I'm thinking, okay, well, what did you tell me when I left Herman? You're like, you're probably going to have to stop again, but just let your body do what you can do, right? Like,
We were planning to stop that night.
yeah, we were planning on stopping that night. So anyway, I start rowing again, and I link up with another tandem canoe, and we're cruising together, and I was appreciating how fast they were going. I was like, wow, you guys are really cruising in that thing. And one of the guys in the boat was saying, yeah, I got sick of people passing me last year, so I got this Winona. And Winonas are beautiful, sleek, streamlined Kevlar canoes. And I was like, yeah, man, you guys are cruising. This is awesome. And we were flowing with each other for a while. And then I was like, well, I'm gonna start rowing again. And they thought that it was an interesting thing because they thought they were going to be leaving me in the dust. And I started rowing, and I left them in the dust, and it wasn't like, I wasn't like, so good. It was like, whoa, how did I do that? I was just, why is this happening? I'm actually rowing. I've already put over 270 miles under my belt on this race, and I can still row? What was in that watermelon? Yeah, something was in that watermelon. That was a Chamois Bottoms watermelon grown by that lady. So I think there's something special about that watermelon.
It's hybridizing with something there in Chamois.
Yeah, it's probably getting something from those hog farms upstream.
It could be.
Yeah. So then what happened was, I think that's when I was taking these pictures, I was just in awe again of the beauty of the river corridor, and I was enjoying a little cloud cover. It wasn't blistering hot like it had been the whole time. I mean, that heat was just hellacious. So the conditions were actually like really nice, and I just had to capture these shots, even though all I wanted to do was row at this point, because rowing was working. And this is the last time the sun was going to go down on this race. But I sustained that rowing for pretty much the rest of the race. It was about at this point when I took this picture, I had a sort of, I don't know, a euphoric kind of spiritual, I guess you could call it an epiphany, but it was just like divine grace. Like, I don't know, it was like the miracle that you hear about that people experience in sports. I experienced that. I was feeling so horrible. I was before this, and then I had that watermelon. And everything turned around. And then after rowing for hours and feeling good about it, then at this point, it went to a whole nother level. Like, not only was I rowing, but I was rowing like perfectly. I was aware of every stroke, entering and leaving the water with efficiency. It was like I finally relearned how to row again. it was like that scene in Legend of Bagger Vance when he gets in the weeds and then he's like struggling between like getting stuck in the old story or the trauma of his war times, but instead he gets into the moment and then he gets out of the weeds and plays an amazing game. I was living that on my rowboat. Like it took me 280 miles to learn how to row my boat again, apparently, but it was like, I don't know, I felt like I was floating. I mean, I was. But it also felt like I was floating. I mean, it was like no joke, I felt like I was, like I had light in my cells. It was just unreal. Inexplicable, maybe is the word. I think that's the word. I didn't know what happened. I still don't know, but it was amazing. And that happened, and I didn't think it was possible. I didn't expect it, but that's what happened. So I kept rowing. Oh yeah, I just got a little video of the beautiful evening. This is Washington. The bridge after Washington, which when you're that whacked out and tired and hallucinating, that bridge does weird things visually. You don't know. It's hard to tell where to go, but basically go where that green light is. And, okay, so the next stop was going to be Klondike, which is about 27 miles from the end.
27, yep.
And so in the time from Washington till Klondike, I had created I had caught up to the next rower, and we had, 6 minutes between us?
6.
And then I was still just high on this, whatever it was, this chamois watermelon. So anyway.
This is 14 hours later.
This is 14 hours later after the watermelon.
It's the middle of the night, and he comes into Klondike and he goes, "I feel good." It's like, let's go. Let's finish this thing.
Yeah, so with a quick stop at Klondike, I pushed back out, 6 minutes between me and the next guy, and I started rowing again. And not long, I was passing someone who was paddling their boat, and that was the other rower.
Paddling.
Very
important to note. He was paddling.
And his name is Josh, and he built the same. I mean, we have something in common, our rowing rig, and he also built an Angus rowboat. I did that as well, and anyway, it was good competition, and we were very closely matched. Anyway, he was paddling, and so I didn't expect it to be him. He's like, "You are now in second place," and I was like, "Oh yeah, wow." So, and then he's like, "Yeah, I couldn't do the navigation and rowing backwards at night thing. You know, I'm not doing that. So, anyway, enjoy it," or something to that effect. And I was like, "All right, well, we'll see you down the river." And I kept rowing, and once again, the trees started turning into giant beings. The hallucinations came back, but thankfully, they weren't imbued with the feeling of impossible exhaustion. They were still there, but I was happy and enjoying it, and seeing just. I don't know, it was like a different lens of experiencing the night on the river in nature, seeing the trees as figures and beings, and just feeling, not feeling a fear about it or like distress, but just kind of like I'm floating through space, and I just feel at peace and ease. So that was lovely, and that brought me to about the last 3 miles of the race when I got hit with a headwind, and I was like, oh, this is not good. I started to get whacked around the river, and I started having to like fight just to keep my orientation. I was like, okay, come back to earth. Let's. I felt like I was getting slapped a little bit. Like, okay, you got to come back to earth, John. It's time to get back to reality. And so there was like 3 turns that I thought was going to be the last turn. Like, there's a bridge, there's lights, then there's the end. That happened 3 times, and I was like, okay, where's the end of this damn river? Finally, I went under the highway before the Lewis and Clark boat ramp, and I was like, okay, this is it. I'm here. And so, that run of bliss lasted until the last 3 miles, and I was like, okay, this got real again. Starting to feel like day 1, but thankfully I was pulling into the finish line, and there I am, I'm feet from finishing, and this is what I looked like at the very end, with my 2nd place trophy, which is now up on that bar over there.
It's your second place.
So this is the next day. Some other racers coming in. That's the rig. Pretty fun.
Full of garbage at this point.
Full of garbage. This is the vibe when someone comes in, and during the day anyway.
It was a little less energetic at 3 in the morning when he came in. It was almost unceremonious because, there was one guy there with a cowbell.
Yeah, they rung the bell for me, which was nice.
And there were a few people there helping out and cheering. And somebody ran down with the trophy and handed it to him, but it's 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I forgot to mention that. I finished the race in 68 hours and
42?
52 minutes?
52.
Yeah. And second, only 11 hours after David, the first finisher. Oh, we got Zach in the house. This wouldn't have been possible without Zach. Everybody give Zach a hand. Zach helped me make my rig rowable in the most crucial time crunch. He saved me like 3 hours of like not sleeping. That was amazing. This is the very last racer coming in. She was an older woman doing it solo. Oh yeah, here's the times. So 68:52, 186 overall for me. David was 72, and Josh was 193, finishing just under an hour after me.
But remember, Josh was 6 minutes ahead, 27 miles out. And John put an hour on him in that last 27 miles.
It was that chamois watermelon. Here's me and David claiming our trophies. Of course.
You look really happy there.
Oh yeah, I'm happy. David definitely pointed out how much bigger his is than mine. And per the rituals that started last year, we're enjoying some of David's spoils out of our trophies there. That's a Tim Knapp photo. Down the hatch.
It was a special bourbon that they brewed just for the MR340.
And then this is the Purple Hat Club. So you'll see I'm wearing a purple hat tonight, but also so are these folks. What that means is we descended the whole Missouri River from the headwaters at three forks, at least from there to the confluence. And I finished at the arch when I did it in 2020. But that's something we all have in common there. We're all tied in with the Missouri River Paddlers group on Facebook. And David Miller, the guy who wrote the book, Complete Paddler, which is the guidebook. It's it's outdated now because he did it back in the early 2000s, but he started this tradition of making these purple hats and getting them to the people who do the river. So I'm wearing my Sunday's best right now, guys. And El Finito. This is the morning after our first nice, full night of sleep. Slept in a hotel. Got the old Rusty on top there, and Tim continuing to earn his shirt. And that's all I got for you guys. Thank you. And I think Tim's going to come up and share some of his experience of what it's like being a ground crew. And so I will hand the mic over.
All right. I would like to add a few things just in case anybody here might be interested in being his ground crew next year. It was a fantastic experience for me. I absolutely enjoyed it. There's three things I want to share tonight. First of all, it's a front row seat to this ultra endurance event. And it was really kind of cool to have that front row seat, to see the physical endurance that people have, the mental endurance that people have, the skill. And this guy particularly is a very skilled person on the river. People would come into the boat ramps and they'd get swept out by the currents. He would just come in neatly and not waste energy. That's really impressive to see. That skill matters too, because that's your efficiency. I saw people bleeding. I saw people stumbling. I saw people who needed to be lifted out of their boat because they couldn't stand up. And yet every one of those people got back in their boat and continued down the river. It's kind of cool to see that. Strategy is something that's really interesting to see from a front row seat. When are you going to sleep? When are you going to eat? When are you going to go to the bathroom? All of these things don't really happen in most sporting events, but in an ultra endurance event, these things matter. I think Jon beat the third place person because he's a better athlete. But it was pretty close, and really what also mattered in the end was Jon had a good night's sleep. That really made a huge difference. And so strategy, and it's really hard to listen to your body, and that's what he and I kept talking about going down the river, is how do you even listen to your body? But Jon made some really good decisions about when to sleep. He's naturally gifted. He admits that he was not as well prepared as he should have been, but he's gifted as an athlete. He's made for this. All these other racers are struggling to eat food, and he's double fisting bratwurst on day 3 at lunchtime. And I'm like, okay, well, I don't have to worry about caloric intake. The guy's fine. So it was really fun to see that kind of event up close and personal. The second thing I wanted to share was that it was kind of cool for me to check out for a week. During the race, my life was broken up into 4-hour chunks. I would send Jon down the river, I'd get in my car, drive to the next boat ramp, take care of a few things, and wait for Jon, and then repeat. And through all of this, I had to, manage myself, food, showers when they happened. I mean, it was nice to have a shower be a treat. And then sleep was really super important because I'm driving unfamiliar roads at all hours of the night. And then when this thing's over, I have to drive all the way back home. And I never slept more than 3 hours at a time, but I never slept less than 7 hours a night. So I was well rested the whole time. I felt good. It was kind of fun to manage that for myself. The third thing I want to share about the experience is just the social aspect. And Jon touched on it a little bit, the people he encountered on the river. The registration day and the first day of the race were chaotic. There were a lot of people. We were all moving down the river together. But everybody was in good spirits and everybody was friendly. And it was still fun the first couple of days. But by the time we get to day 2, people are suffering. And it's kind of a shared suffering, and there's a camaraderie that's building, and we're also moving down the river together. Every stop, I would see the same racers. Every stop, I would see the same ground crew people. And I was even seeing a lot of the same volunteers, because a lot of the volunteers are moving down the river with us. And when I had a few spare moments and I didn't really know what to do with myself, I just go down to the boat ramp and be a volunteer myself. Help people get in and out of their boats, help carry boats up and down the ramps. And it was kind of fun to do all of that, and it was an opportunity to have a social engagement. And at the end of the race, while Jon was trying to sleep it off in his tent into the day on Friday, I was down there helping these exhausted racers load their boats onto their roof racks. And so it was kind of fun as the party's ramping up on Friday before the award ceremony. Jon wants another beer. We're trying to get to the beer stand. And every couple of steps, somebody is stopping us. And Jon's like, okay, how far are we going to get this time before somebody stops us? And it's people he's met on the river, it's people he knows as a river person, but it's also people I met going down the river. And they were all curious about his story because I was telling everybody, hey, it's a race. We're way back in the pack. We're not way out front with the really elite athletes, but because the rowing class is such a weird class, who wants to go down the river backward? It was a race, and it went down to the last segment, and people were following our story, and I'm telling everybody our story, so they wanted to meet him. And so a lot of people were coming up to us. The party on Friday, oh man, I could have stayed the whole night, but I had to be the party pooper and say, dude, we got to get down the road a little bit because I can't drive all the way home tomorrow.
That was a good call.
It was.
It was a hard call, but a good call.
So if anybody ever wants to think about being his ground crew for next year, let me tell you, it's an incredible experience. It's a front row seat to something weird. It's an opportunity to check out of life for a while, and it is a real opportunity to engage with a lot of interesting people, and it was a really good social experience for me. And I got this great shirt.
Thanks, Tim.